Hello, my name is Nicola and I'm one of the perinatal and under ones workers for the Hertfordshire Family Centre service. As the weather is starting to get warmer and we're looking forward to the sunshine, it's important to know how to keep yourself and your children safe in the sun. Whether you're heading to the park, the beach, or just spending time in the garden, it's really important to think about sun protection for yourself and your children. So sun safety is important at all ages, and protecting your children's skin is really easy to do by using a combination of shade, clothing and sunscreen. Children and teenagers might need a little bit of a reminder or a helping hand, so it's really good to set an example using great ways, sun protection for yourself. Children under 6 months, it's recommended that they stay out of direct sunlight, so that's where it's good to stay in the shade as much as possible. One of the best ways to protect skin is staying in the shade. It's a good idea to keep out of direct sunshine in the middle of the day when the sun is at its strongest. So try getting into a habit of heading indoors between 11 AM and 3 PM, or using a parasol or a play tent or some form of shade that you can keep baby in. Baby's skin is still very delicate and contains less of the pigment that gives our skin and eyes and hair its colour. So that's why sun protection is really important. And as babies get older, it's still important to keep them in the shade. So parasols that you can attach to pushchairs, sunshades, all of those things are really, really important. So you've got to make sure that you're using sun cream. When you apply sun cream, it covers all of the exposed areas, using as much as possible. Shoulders, back of the neck, top of the ears, your nose, your cheeks, all those things that could easily burn. And when you are buying sun cream, it's important to look for a sun protection factor, which is your SPF of at least 30 or above, and you want to have at least 4 stars of the UVA protection and the UVB protection. Most of the sun creams that you can get out there will have that on them. They tend to have a shelf life of around 2 to 3 years, so don't use it sparingly. Get children to stay still and apply as much as possible. Singing a song and trying to keep children entertained that way is really useful to get the cream on them. Make sure you follow the instructions on the bottle to ensure you've got the protection that you need, and reapply the sun cream every 2 hours so that the protection doesn't wear off. Water resistant sun cream can rub off, so make sure you reapply that after swimming, or if child is sweating quite a lot and using a towel, can obviously rub the sun cream off, so apply it after that. So there are many brands out there specifically for young babies and children, and it's good to look for those because they can contain less additives which irritate the skin. The water resistant protects children while they're in the water for 40 to 80 minutes, so obviously reapplying that afterwards is really important, as I said before. Whenever you will be out in the sun, it's important to apply sun cream about 15 to 30 minutes before going outside, and ensuring that you are applying it under straps as well. You can buy lip protection as well, which is an SPF of 30, and just to apply on children's lips. There is no big amount, so you can put as much on as possible, and the more the better. And the rule is that you use 9 teaspoons for the whole body. 1 teaspoon for the face, 1 for the torso, 1 for the back of the torso, a teaspoon for each arm and leg. So it's just important to make sure you put enough on. Appropriate clothing is also really important for when going out in the sun. So a good idea is to encourage children to wear sun hats. Big floppy sun hat that protects the face and the neck is really good. Or you can buy the caps with the bit that protects the back of their neck. And you can also buy sun protection clothing, which is quite handy, but it doesn't have to be anything fancy. Just a loose t-shirt over the top is really useful as well. So it's just protecting as much of their skin as possible. There are UV suits that you can wear for them getting in and out of the water, but again, as I say, you don't have to spend that amount of money. You can just buy a loose t-shirt, long sleeves if necessary. Sunglasses are really useful because obviously protecting their eyes is really important as well. So the sun hat should protect their eyes a little bit, but you can also buy sunglasses for children. Keeping hydrated, so ensuring that you're drinking lots of water, have access to water throughout the day. If baby's not old enough for water, then obviously they will continue to drink their milk, and this will give them lots of hydration. And you might find that if baby is breastfeeding, they may tend to feed a lot more. They don't need additional water if they're breastfeeding until they've started solid foods, but just ensure that you're trying to keep them topped up with fluids. Bottle feeding, they will just tend to feed as much as usual, but they may give a little bit extra. You can give them cold boiled water in between if you feel that they need it, but again, the milk should have enough hydration in it to keep them well hydrated. Obviously speak to your health visitor or another member of the health professionals to ask about advice on meeting your baby's needs when it is in the hot weather. From around 6 months, so when they've started having solid foods, then you can encourage them to have drinks of water, and so sips of cool boiled water in a beaker is really useful to have. In hot weather, you might just need to offer some additional water outside of meal times. You can also try with frozen lollies, so you can either make them with plain water and then just give them a little bit of frozen ice to suck on, or you can use diluted fruit juices, like very diluted, and again mixed with lots of water. Plenty of fruit, plenty of salads, so watermelons, cucumbers, things like that are really good for keeping hydrated. Tips to keep cool is obviously water play, really handy. So if you've got a paddling pool or anything like that, water shooters, things like that are really good just to keep cool, obviously for older children with the water pistols and things. A cool bath before bedtime really helps. Obviously if you're playing around water and you're using water, it's important to keep safe, so never leave children unattended when they're playing with water. Light clothing for bedtime. You can buy lighter sleeping bags that you can put babies in, but you might find that you don't need to layer them up too much. You might just want to put them to bed in a vest and then their sleeping bag. You can use a thermometer, help with the temperature of the baby's room, which is really useful. So between 16 to 20 degrees is probably a comfortable temperature for the baby's room, but you'll get to learn your baby's cues and how comfortable they are when it's sleeping. If you are pregnant during hot weather, then obviously you possibly will become more sensitive to the sun, so it's important to follow guidance on how to keep yourself safe in the sun. And again, as we spoke about before with the babies, probably staying in the shade is probably your best bet. Things to avoid, obviously you want to ensure we're avoiding sunburn and things like that, so keeping an eye on using sun cream, sunshades, covering up when possible, should avoid sunburn and things like that. But if you do feel that you have got sunburn or a child has got sunburn, it's really important to seek advice. Trying to keep baby cool afterwards, cooling down with maybe a damp flannel or something, not letting them get too cold, but also seeking advice. You can seek advice from your GP. Pharmacist is really helpful when it comes to things like this, so you can obviously go and get advice from them. Avoid any scratching if there's any sore skin. If there's any blisters, don't pop them, don't put tight clothing on it, and really important just to seek advice afterwards. You can either call 111, you can see your GP as I said before, or you can ask for help from your pharmacist. Hopefully these tips will have helped you to enjoy the sunshine safely, just making sure that you're keeping hydrated, lots of shade, lots of sun cream. But if you have any questions or queries regarding it, there's lots of information out there. You can speak to your health visiting team, the family centre staff. But if you need any extra advice or information, then by all means speak with the health visiting team or the family centre staff, and hopefully they can help you out.